I used to worry a lot about what others thought of my choices. I think most of us do to some extent, even minimalists. However, I believe that in a world full of expectations about who we are supposed to be, creating the life you want for yourself is not just a nice idea. It is essential. In this video, I will share 10 key lessons from Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, that has helped me a lot to break free from this societal expectations and feel more me on my own minimalist journey. I generally don't have problem with swearing, but I think YouTube will take this video down if I keep repeating the F word like almost in every sentence, so I will just use giving an F in this video. Lesson 1. Whether you realize it or not, you are always choosing what to give an F about. It's nice to think of a life where you can just do whatever you want and not care about anything or anyone or any consequences of your own actions, but as Mark mentions in this book, the people who don't care about anything or anyone are usually just psychopaths. We all care about something, but usually the problem is not that we care too little about things, it's that we care about too many things way too much. In my opinion, embracing minimalism is actually a pretty good way to deal with this. It's all about intentionality and shows that you actually have the control to choose what you care about. Whether it's deciding which items to keep, which relationships to nurture, or which commitments to accept, minimalists are pretty much always in the process of choosing what adds genuine value to their lives. The key is to approach these choices with mindfulness and think about your own values and not just choose to do something or have something because the society or other people tell you to have it or do it. By doing this, you create more space for things that resonate with you. So I guess the lesson here is, if you're already a minimalist, it's quite likely that you are making your life easier and not just all the time harder and harder. Lesson 2. Not giving an F does not mean being indifferent. It means being comfortable with being different. Minimalism often involves going kind of against these societal norms of consumerism and accumulation of a lot of stuff. But the goal isn't just to be apathetic, reject things just to reject something, or be different just for the sake of being different than everyone else. It's about consciously choosing a path that might be different from the mainstream lifestyle or the mainstream path, because you know that that wouldn't make you actually happy and fulfilled. You can see the bigger picture, and maybe you have already started to redefine what success means to you. Being different often means stepping out of your comfort zone and being okay to face criticism and opinions that are different to yours, and maybe even misunderstandings, while still staying true to yourself. As Mark says in this book, you can be an important and life-changing presence for some people without also being a joke and an embarrassment to others. It's not always easy, for sure it's not, but learning to be more comfortable with being different helps you to create this deeper sense of self-acceptance that reduces the need for this external validation. Lesson 3. To not give an F about adversity, you must first care about something more important than adversity. No matter where you go or what you do in your life, there will always be problems. A problem-free life just doesn't exist. That is utopia. That's why it's important to see minimalism as not an escape from problems, but rather something that helps you focus on what is important and therefore focus on which problems you want to face. As Mark says in the book, don't hope for a life without problems, hope for a life full of good problems. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the negative comments or obstacles life throws your way, but the key to navigating adversity lies in having a strong sense of purpose. By having clear values and priorities, it is much easier for people, let's say in this case for minimalists, to endure that difficulty or those difficulties when you are simplifying your life, because you know that the purpose or the why behind why you are doing all that is much more important than that temporary discomfort or pain that you are feeling that comes with that lifestyle choice. Through minimalism, I've been able to find these core values and then choose my battles. I focus my energy more on things that I believe in. For example, spending more time with people that I love and not spending the time to try to impress people with some flashy things, for example, because I don't just believe that to be important in my life. And that leads us to the lesson 4. Choose your values carefully. Minimalism helps you to simplify and create this blank canvas. What you then decide to paint on that canvas matters a lot. This is something I heard last week while watching a video from another creator called Peter Cook, and it really hit home for me. You can become a minimalist just to show others that you are more conscious consumer than they are, and therefore you are better than them. Or you can do the same without even telling anyone, or without even the need to label yourself as a minimalist. You simplify your life because you know that it's the right thing to do for your own well-being. As Mark mentions in this book, better values lead to better problems, and those better problems then lead to a better life. Some examples of good values are, for example, honesty, compassion, self-respect, curiosity, humility, and creativity, just to mention a few. To live aligned with these values, every now and then you probably have to say no and reject some unnecessary possessions or commitments or distractions. And some examples of not so good values could be material success, needing to always be right, feeling good all the time, being the center of attention, or being liked by everyone. And I think being able to reject things is a very crucial skill in life, because without that skill, we may be stuck for years in a relationship that doesn't make us happy, or in a job that we hate but we are just too afraid to tell anyone, or in a lifestyle that doesn't actually make us feel fulfilled. If you would like to understand some of these values for you better, I have this free 5-day Clear the Noise challenge. It's basically an email challenge. Every day you get an email and some little exercise to do, which helps a lot to exactly clear the noise and understand your own priorities and values better, while at the same time clearing your mind. I will leave a link to it in the description. It is completely free of charge, as mentioned. Lesson 5. You are not special, but that is okay. There's this sentence in this book that really made me think the first time I read it. Being average has become the new standard for failure. The worst thing you can be is in the middle of the pack, the middle of the bell curve. And I think that is so true. People have very hard time accepting mediocrity because they feel like if they are there, it must mean that their life doesn't matter somehow. But this idea that we are, or we have to be extraordinary or very special, can just lead to this unhealthy comparison that makes us feel inadequate. After all, there's always somebody who has achieved more than you have. When you accept that you are not special and you don't need to be special, you begin to value the simple, ordinary moments and things in life, and can free yourself from the pursuit of excess, the need to compete, impress, or accumulate in order to feel validated and enough. Minimalism and slowing down life have taught me that meaning is many times found exactly in these everyday moments rather than these extraordinary achievements or experiences. These everyday things can be, for example, enjoying a simple friendship, creating something, helping someone, reading a good book, or laughing with someone you care about. They may seem boring because they are just ordinary, but maybe they are ordinary because they are the things that actually matter. Lesson 6. Avoid the feedback loop from hell. This refers to the cycle when you feel bad about feeling bad. It's when you have these feelings, for example, anger or frustration, anxiety, and then you feel guilty or frustrated because you have these feelings, which creates this loop that increases your distress even more. Minimalism often comes with the desire for simplicity, but aiming for a perfectly simple and minimalist life, or that you will never desire to buy anything anymore, can lead to this exact feedback loop. If things get messy, life feels chaotic, or you end up buying something you didn't need after all, don't beat yourself up for falling short of your minimalist ideals. Minimalism is supposed to reduce stress, but if it becomes an obsession, it can just create more stress and more anxiety. Mark says in this book, the true measurement of self-worth is not how a person feels about her positive experiences, but rather how she feels about her negative experiences. And then also, a person with high self-worth can look at the negative parts honestly and then act to improve them. Lesson 7, the self-awareness onion. I like this one a lot. This is a metaphorical model that Mark uses in his book to illustrate the different levels of self-awareness, emphasizing how understanding ourselves better often involves peeling back layers to find deeper truths. And I think this is especially important for minimalists to navigate the world and make better decisions. I kind of wish I had an onion now that I could be peeling while I'm going through this with you. So the outer layer of this self-awareness onion is, what do I feel? This is the level or the layer where you have a basic understanding of your own emotions, of your own feelings. Unfortunately, a lot of people lack already this first level of self-awareness. They don't have the emotional intelligence to understand what they are feeling. For me, it took years to understand and identify certain feelings and emotions because I was just suppressing them. That's why asking yourself often, what do I feel, is very important. The second layer is, why do I feel like this? This layer involves recognizing your feelings or emotions and then what triggered those feelings or emotions. For example, why am I feeling angry? Why am I sad? Why am I feeling this anxiety or disappointment? Going deeper and understanding the root cause for certain emotions can really improve our life quality. Because if we didn't like what happened that made us feel really anxious, for example, then next time we can avoid those habits or situations. But there's still a third level or layer here, and that is, why do I consider this good or bad? On this level, you also ask yourself, why do I consider this to be a success or a failure? By what standard I'm measuring myself and others? It takes us from just feeling something and understanding like what we are feeling and why we are feeling that, to question whether we are feeling these feelings because of our own values or because of some predetermined expectations that the society or other people have set for us. This level is of course harder to reach, but I think that is where the real magic happens. Here's just a quick example from my life. What do I feel? Anxiety. Why? Because I'm sharing my feelings with others. Why do I consider this something I should feel anxious about? Because I grew up in an environment where that was a sign of weakness. But now when I think of it, that's just a lot of bullshit. Lesson 8. We are wrong about things all the time. When we learn something, we don't go from wrong to right. We go from wrong to less wrong. For example, when you are decluttering, you may start from just getting rid of the obvious things, and when that is done, you think that, okay, that was it. Now I am done decluttering. But after a while, if especially you continue your minimalist journey, you may realize that there are more clutter in your life than just those things. So after all, you were wrong, and maybe this decluttering process wasn't finished yet. And then you don't go from wrong to right here, that okay, the next time you declutter everything, then you are right and that is done. You go to less wrong. Maybe when you learn more about yourself and what you value, there will be some more items still that you can let go, or maybe some more items that you need to buy. Who knows? But the point is that you are never like 100% right forever. And I think minimalists who become so convinced that their approach to minimalism is the right way, or that they have mastered this lifestyle, are just hurting themselves. If you have this mindset, you may stop experimenting with new ways to simplify your life and therefore miss out on a lot of positive life changes. So rather than always searching for certainty and confirmation for your theories, start also searching for doubt. Ask yourself often, what if I'm wrong? Recognizing that you might be wrong and that it is okay to adjust or change your approach when it comes to minimalism frees you from this pressure of perfection. We all make mistakes. Lesson 9. Take responsibility. We may not have control over the circumstances that life throws our way, but we do have complete authority over how we respond to those situations. And it's important to accept this responsibility rather than just pretending that it doesn't exist. You may just have decluttered a lot of stuff and things are going well, but then something happens and you are back to square one. It's very easy to feel discouraged in these moments. Taking responsibility here doesn't imply that you are to blame for everything that happened, Perhaps a significant life event occurred that made it difficult for you to function as you did before. Instead, it acknowledges your current ability to make choices and take action toward change. After all, decluttering and simplifying is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing, intentional journey. It requires effort, adaptability, and willingness to reevaluate our priorities and habits. So focus on what you can do now instead of wishing that things had gone differently. Lesson 10. The motivation trap. Many times we wait until we get this motivation to tackle a big project or simplify something, but I think that is a very slippery slope. Because what if that motivation never comes? I think there's a very good way to approach this and also get that motivation, and that is action. I've noticed that inspiration and motivation come from action, not the opposite. First you do something and then you start to get that passion to do it even more. I think decluttering sessions are a good example of this. I got this comment yesterday from a subscriber. Last week I decided to clean my room. Nothing big, just wipe the dust. Then when my clothes started to fall down from the drawer, I decided to do something about it, and 15 minutes of surface cleaning turned into a whole day decluttering session. These small habits can quickly create a snowball effect. And I believe that the disciplined approach to the commitments that you value, no matter how small, brings genuine freedom. It's not about trying to achieve everything. Everybody gives an F about something, so choose wisely what are those things for you. For more tips related to minimalism and simplifying life, make sure to watch this video next. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one. Ciao.